Hello, Spiros. Welcome to our Kai interview.
Hello, Ziv. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, thank you. And you?
I'm good too.
Perfect. So let's start by telling us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm a coach, but my background is totally different. I have a bachelor in physics and a master in AI, and I have been working with as a software developer for many years. But at some point in my life, it was not fulfilling for me anymore. I was eager for a human connection, and somehow by working with my values, I realized that I have to change career. I have to do something else. And obviously, a lot of things happen. But long story short, now I'm a coach, and I work with people to help them to live a more fulfilled life.
Thank you. So what does it mean to live a more fulfilling life?
Well, I think it's personal for anyone. It doesn't mean that what is fulfilling for me it will be for you or for someone else. But I believe that to be authentic, to really realize what are your values and what kind of person you want to be in this life, and working aligned with these values, it brings you some kind of contentment. You feel right with who you are. So I really believe it has to do a lot with authenticity, to know who you are and acting like that.
Mhm. And the values are important for that. Why?
Well, values are important because they give us a direction in life, and if you allow me, I would like to say a few things about values and goals, because there's a lot of confusion between values and goals.
Yeah, sure.
So values give us a direction, okay, and they are ongoing, and they tell us what kind of person we want to be in any moment. We can act on them now. We don't have to wait for something else in the future to happen. And you can think about the difference. Let's say let's take getting married and being loving. Getting married
Mhm.
is a goal. Okay, if you when your wedding day comes, you can just cross it off your list and it's done.
Mhm.
But being loving and act lovingly, you don't have to get married. You don't have to. You don't even have to have a partner. You can act lovingly to your parents, to your friends, even to a stranger. And I like to use this metaphor. So imagine that goals are like a GPS device, okay? Because in GPS you can put where your destination, you can put your current location, it tells you everything. You can tell you how long it will take you to reach there, what kind of turns you have to take, everything. But values is more like a compass. A compass doesn't tell you anything about how long it will take you to reach your destination. It doesn't tell you where you have to turn. It just shows you your north. Okay, and that's the beauty, because life is not about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about what we do from now till we die.
Mm.
But
So
yeah, go on.
do we need goals to know that we are on the right way in our campus journey, or it's two different separate things?
Well, they are separate, but I believe that we live a more fulfilled life when our goals, at least most of them or the most important ones, are aligned with our values. Because if you set goals that they don't really mean something to you, you just do them because of the culture, because of your background, because of your parents, your school, or your friends, whatever you hear, and you believe that this is what you have to do, then at some point you will find barriers. For example, if you want to go to the gym because you believe that your appearance will become better, but you don't really value the appearance. you may start going to the gym, you may have a healthy diet, but at some point you will not be able to to move forward, because I believe values are self motivators. They pull you towards your goals.
Is there a chance that I don't know that I value appearance? I don't dare to tell it to myself, so I go to the gym. But if you will ask me, I will tell you, nah, I don't really care. I'm here for my health. But actually, I didn't find that place in me that admits that I value appearance.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, so what's your question here?
So the question is that, in a way, on one way, goals can show us if we are on the right way, but maybe they can show us that to discover the way.
I mean, that's where we are. I mean, in this life, we have to discover everything. No one is somewhere to tell us you have to do that, you have to do that, and you have to explore. I mean, even when you realize your values and you set goals that are aligned with them, it doesn't mean that this will stay the same for the rest of your life. For example, when I was younger, I was really valuing freedom. I was like to travel and everything. But when my son was born, I had to prioritize my values. So being supportive towards my family and in general for the community, now it's higher than the sense of
Freedom.
freedom.
Okay,
But
so
obviously, by trying different values, there are ways to realize your value. By setting different goals, there are ways to realize your values too. But there are other ways to realize your values that are faster, let's say, instead of just exploring randomly.
interesting. So what you say is that, like, we have a few options. One is we need to make sure that our goals and our value align. Two
Yeah.
is that we can decide that now we change our values and we no longer believe in a certain value that we held for, and now we change to a different value. And there is that another option where the goal discovers the value, right? We do something and then we say, why do we do it? And then we realize that it's important for us and it is a value through our actions.
Yeah, I mean, there are no limitations, but I don't want to see them like options. Okay, I'll get the option B. uh, that's why I mentioned before about authenticity, because if you know who you are, then your goals will be about that, which will be aligned with your values. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. I try to understand if the values help us to discover and to know who we are, or thanks to who we are, we can define our values.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you cannot really separate them because values is something internal. It's not something external. You can say, okay, I'm going to adopt this kind of value now. So depending on your upbringing, your education, your past experiences, everyone is different. Everyone is individual, has its own experiences. And based on that, we have different values. And as I said, values change as we grow older.
Mhm.
So yeah, there is no clear distinction what comes before. I mean, it's like the chicken and the egg. What comes first? I think it's both, both on the same time.
Okay, so now we mapped, let's say I met my values, I understand better what are my values, I understand better who I am. What's next?
Then set goals aligned with these values. But again, there's a lot of misunderstanding around goals because people, can put some goals that they are not measurable, they are not really specific, and then they are just lost. The way that I like to describe it to my coaching clients is that you have to be specific on your goal.
Mm.
And the way I explain it is imagine that you have your last wish from a genie, okay? And you have to be specific because the genie will try to fool you. So if you ask for more money, the genie will give you £1 and then you will have more money. on the same time, you have to be specific on your deadline. Because if you ask for £1,000,000, maybe your genie gives you this £1,000,000 when you are 90. And then there's no much value. There's nothing you can use this money for. So you have to be specific on your goal and the outcome, and also in the deadline. Also, you have to put attainable goals, at least in the beginning. I mean, I really encourage my clients to put impossible goals, but not in the beginning. Because if you, let's say, I want to run a marathon next week, but I've never run before, most probably I will fail, and then I will be discouraged. But if I take, baby steps and I get the momentum, then it's really beneficial to have impossible goals, because that's why we are here, to discover our potential. And the potential is never around our comfort zone. We have to get out of it. We have to dream big, And the third part of the goals is what we discussed already, that the goals have to be aligned with the values. Because, I mean, they don't have to, but they are really helpful to be aligned with the values.
So maybe long-term impossible goals with baby steps toward them. Yeah,
Yes.
that's okay. That's
Yeah.
and you said that we need to be very specific with our goals. Can you give an example for a specific goal? How do I phrase a specific goal to myself?
For example, going to the gym, which is something, or exercising. Now with the lockdown, a lot of people just stayed home in the couch, which is comfortable.
Of course.
But I realized that a lot of people wanted to exercise, but just a few of them did. So a specific goal is to say, not say I want to start exercising, or I want, a more healthy life. You have to be more specific. You can say, okay, I want to exercise 3 times per week or 4 times per week. And that means 30 minutes each time. But you have to put also a little bit of window there, because, life happens. Someday, maybe you have some other chores or some other things to do. So you have to have a window of kind of, let's say, if you say 4 times per week, you can set your success by even going for 3 times. If you go 4 times, or even 5, 6, 7 times per week for training, that's fine. But your goals should be, at least in the beginning, okay? And this varies with client to client. But at least in the beginning, you should have something to measure 4 times per week, but it should be also a success if you go, let's say, 3 times. And this depends on the person, as I said. It's not some numbers that, I will come up. It's what the client brings in the session.
Okay, Spiros, that's really, really interesting. And now for the last question, we are about, the interview is about, our time is about to end. The last question is, what I didn't ask you and I should have?
I don't know. I mean, it's a short interview, so there are so many things we can talk about. And regarding values, authenticity, I mean, I could talk forever. The other thing that I find very, very interesting is about, and it's a part of my coaching also, it's about existentialism. And it comes hand to hand with values, because working existentially is about living the good life, is about making the right choices, is about who we are, be authentic out there. And, I mentioned a few times being authentic, but that's how I believe the world will become a better place. By just showing up with our weaknesses, with our strengths, with everything. Because even we believe that something is a weakness in us, maybe when we show up, it will help someone else to progress. And we will learn something from the process, obviously. And well, that's how I believe the world will become a better place, to just be authentic and show up with whatever we have.
Show up with whatever we have, weakness or
Yeah,
strength, just to show up with that.
yeah.
Spiros, thank you very, very much for this interview, for your time, your experience, your knowledge, for
Yeah.
sharing it with everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ziv. Can I take this opportunity and make a coaching offer to your audience?
Of course, of course.
So I would like to, because we live in very unpredicted times, but so I would like to offer to the first 5 people who will contact me mentioning your website, I want to offer 30% off in my coaching programs. And perhaps you will find the link in the description of this
Mhm.
interview. And I mean, you don't have to lose anything because I offer anyway the first session for free. And it's a full session, it's almost 1.5 hours. So we can discover together what's missing, what you can do. And yeah, you can also take advantage of this offer.
Thank you, Spiros, for your generous offer, and keep the good work.
Yeah, thank you, Ziv. It was
Thank you.
nice talking with you.
For me also.